Over the years, football has changed. To some, the quality of the game has improved, but to some, the quality has gone down. It's all about the individual preference, it's not a fact. What is a fact, however, is that through this continuous change, players have undoubtedly become more athletic. Some of the so-called kids are bigger, stronger, faster than most grown men today. Also, it's no secret that a football career does not last forever. Back in the day, it was very rare that you saw players in their 30s be as good as they were in their 20s. Of course, some of the greats retained their technique, but when we speak from a physical standpoint, they were nowhere near their prime, and you can tell. But going back to the original point, on top of the insane athletic abilities we see today, you are now also seeing players continue to excel and defy the logic of age, and in some cases continue to get better. It's safe to say that from a physical standpoint, the game of football has better athletes, and a large proportion is thanks to this man. Players today have realized that in order to have a long career and have a shot at being the best there is, you have to focus on your body, because talent is not enough.
Go to his house, you know, it was few people on the table. I look at it, it was just some salad, plain white chicken, no juice, just water. So we have a food, quickly a lunch, and after that, he said, let's go in the garden and play two-touch. I said, Cristiano, we just finished. So we go playing two-touch, after that, let's go for a swim. After that, let's have a sauna, jacuzzi. I was like, Cristiano, why we didn't stay at the training ground?
Take Haaland for example in the video that I just played you. He was 16 when he first came across this, and ever since then he's made incredible sacrifices to improve his diet and also get into that gym. And he's not the only one. So yeah, it is no accident players have become so athletic in today's era. But now that we established how that happened, it's now time to find out if the most athletic players in our football can play in the two most popular leagues in America, the NFL and the NBA, where the most important factor in making you stand out is your athletic ability. Let's start with the NBA. Realistically, there weren't a lot of choices for this one, so I picked the two players with the highest leaps in football. Cristiano Ronaldo, we know what he can do in the air. He had the record for the highest jump in a football match for a very long time. But that record was recently broken by this man, Bevis Mugabe, who is the second and last player we will look at to see if they can actually get into the NBA. Mugabe now officially holds the new record for the highest jump during a game of football. And here are their measurements, and I will use inches to compare their verticals to the NBA players. But now, for the NBA. First things first, how does their vertical compare to the average vertical jump of an NBA player? Here it is. Early promising signs, I must say so myself. But we have to dig a little bit deeper. And for the next bit, I want to compare them to some players. Now, since Cristiano Ronaldo is 6'2" and is Cristiano Ronaldo, I can't just compare him to any player. But I also can't compare him to LeBron James either, because LeBron James is 6'9". So because of those reasons, I decided to take Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard right now is arguably the best 6'2" player in the NBA at this present time. So how does Ronaldo compare to Lillard? As you can see, the difference is incredible. If you thought that Ronaldo can get up high, think again. And now our second player, Mugabe. Since he is a defender and not necessarily a star in the world of football, I therefore decided to find a similar 6'2" player, a less known player in the NBA, just like Mugabe is in the world of football. Kendrick Nunn. As you can see, the difference here is much less significant. And perhaps Mugabe's build will also help him a lot more if he was to play in the NBA, because when you're 6'2", you're considered a short guy in the NBA, right? And when you have to enter that paint, you have to be able to take that heavy contact that comes from those giants in the paint. So yeah, Mugabe does have an advantage from that perspective. But guys, before I move on, I have to say this. In terms of athleticism, all the players used in this video and this comparison, which was made for fun, you have to acknowledge the fact that their bodies have been trained for the sport that they play. So if all the athletes followed a similar training regime, well, we may have more similar results. But that's why all of this is hypothetical. Next, the NFL. Now I know that some of you guys may already have some players in mind which you believe could make it to the league, and perhaps about some you are right. But the NFL has a lot of different positions, roles and requirements, and I feel that if ever a football player was going to make this transition, it would be based off a combination of their speed, agility and strength. But there are actual football players thinking about making that transition, just like Harry Kane is thinking to become a kicker, right? So we're not going to consider that. Having said all of that though, this is the list of the top 5 fastest players in the world right now. All of them in my opinion have the physical capability and size to be considered for this video. Now before we go further into this video, I have a quick fun fact for everyone. From this list, Adama Traore was actually approached by NFL teams. This happened when he was younger and still playing for Barcelona, but he turned that opportunity down. And on a personal opinion, leaving this video aside, I actually think that Haaland would have a legitimate chance at playing in the NFL because his size and speed is incredible. I mean, he's 6'4" and is one of the fastest athletes in the world. But back to our comparison. These are the top 5 fastest players in the NFL, or at least the most recent list that I could find. And this is how they look next to each other. Even Haaland in 5th place is faster than all of the NFL players. This may surprise a few people. Pound for pound, NFL players generate nearly the same amount of speed whilst carrying a lot more weight and muscle. Let's take the top 2 fastest from each sport. Alphonso Davies weighs 28 kg less than Leonard Fournette, but their speed is nearly identical. But imagine if Fournette weighed just a little bit less and also ran without the NFL uniform and the helmet. I don't think that would be a fair race. But then again, it could go both ways. Maybe with less muscle, Fournette wouldn't be able to generate as much speed. Either way, it's an interesting thought. And nonetheless, from all of these comparisons that I've made so far, football players can definitely hold their ground in any sport when it comes to its physicality. But let me know what you guys think. Would the most athletic players in the football that we know ever have a legitimate shot at entering American sports? Except Traore, of course.